Hey everybody, Tony Winston here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go over the song How Insensitive today, and it's by Antonio Carlos Jobim, or Jobim, depending on your pronunciation. The song goes like this. All right, that's the first half there, more or less. And let's just look at the chords here. D minor ninth. And I try to keep a little bass thing going like this between the root and the fifth. And it says put a ninth in, so I put it here. Now here we have C sharp diminished. And it's a nice chord because if you look at the diminished chord, and then you can put a whole step above any chord tone in a diminished chord. You can add what's called the whole step extension or whole tone extension. So in other words, above the B flat, I could also play a C in this chord. The actual melody is a whole tone extension, so I really don't have to do too much other than play the diminished chord, add that whole tone extension, and it sounds pretty nice. And this is pretty good voicing to use because you've got the diminished chord kind of spread out here, and then the melody over top is a nice tension onto a diminished chord. D minor. Here we have a C minor sixth, and I'm thinking I could maybe add a ninth to it, but I don't want to get too thick right away, so let's just keep it this way. And the melody just kind of floats over the top. And here, we're going to use the Steely Dan chord. Think of the song Peg. That's a good chord to use right there. It's like a G chord with a B in the bass, and you've added the 2 also to it, so they call that G mu, M-U. That's the chord I'm going to use. And then we're on to B flat major 7th, and notice that the melody is actually the 6th, or in this case we have to call it the 13th since we already have a 7th. So it's a pretty thick chord already, no need to add anything to it. But then, when you get to E flat major 7th, and there I'm not adding anything to the chord. I just got E flat, and I took, I just spread it out like that. I think I'm gonna want to keep the thickness on that E flat chord. So let's do it this way. We've got a B flat, and then, see, I'll add the 13 there too, see. Now, E minor 7 flat 5 already has a lot of tension to it. You could try the 9 in there, but boy, it just fights against that melody, so forget that. But actually, it comes in right there on the melody. So yeah, you don't want to add it first and then play it there. You want it to be something fresh. So, and then we've got A dominant 7th, and it's got a flat 9. Okay, so I could play it like that. What else could I add to it? Another altered tension would be fine, and that would be a flat 13. So I think I'll do that. That's a possibility too. Now here, I almost played this really closed voicing, and that's kind of nice too, but the note you can leave out is the 5th. And if you leave the 9 in, you get that nice tension there. And it doesn't sound too bad since by the time you play the melody, this note is already kind of faded away. So it's a nice blend. And there went to D flat. It says D flat 13, so where would I add the 13? It's here, but if you don't want to interfere with the melody, you got to add it down here. It looks like a 6th. See, that's a 6th from D flat. But because it's got a 7, the 7 takes precedence, right? If it's got a 7, it's a 7th chord, and then this is called the 13. So I'll add that. That's nice. It doesn't say anything about the 9, but since that's an unaltered 13, you could put an unaltered 9 in there. You can actually put a flat 9 in there too. Let's play this second 8 section, see how it sounds. And here we run into the next 8 now is going to be C minor 7th, but we notice that the melody is an 11th. So there's a nice voicing for it. Play it bigger there if you want, but let's keep it small. And here comes B diminished. Now this time the melody is part of the diminished chord. So if we want to add more tension to this chord, we've got to find one of those whole tone extensions that's going to work. So I'm going to try the G here. That's a whole tone extension above F, right? F's in the chord. Could possibly add the 9. And here you run into a little bit of a problem when you get to the A7th. Because A7th is here, the melody is here, so usually you'll end up leaving the 3rd out on a chord like that. But check it out, you could actually put it in. It doesn't sound too bad. But that's probably better. Yeah, nice chordal voicing there, you know, a stack of fourths would be nice. Right, and you could put 13 in there to get to the C minor 9th. So let's play the 3rd 8 now. All right, we've got C minor. So again, we're on the C minor 11th. And then we change. See, that's a very nice F7 chord because I added the 13 to it. You know, and that's probably safer than adding a flat 13. It's just the flat 13 changes the sound too much, and plus you got the regular 9 up there. It's not that like it's illegal to do that, but it just doesn't seem to fit the song. And here comes like a 2-5 out of nowhere, you know. It's just a very beautiful chord change that's, you know, right at the end of the song. So that's, to quote a fellow YouTuber, that's what makes this song great. Now there it says flat 9, but I put a 13 instead. I could put the flat 9 there. But it's coming in the melody anyway, so why not just play the 13 chord? And then when you get that, and now B flat major 7th. And what's the melody? The sharp 11, all right? It's one of the 3 tensions that can be put onto a major 7th chord. You can add the 9, you can add the sharp 11, you could add the 13. You could add all 3. So I could get the 9, the 13, and the sharp 11 right there. I should have the 3rd in there, but, you know, I could do that instead of that. Either one sounds good, you know. Which one would support that melody note the best? Neither. You almost have to put a flat 9 in there. And you could do a quick little suspension there, like that, I think. All right, let's run the song here, and I'll just do my best.